we've got, a lot of tools, and we're always adding tools. So since the recording's starting now, I am just going to say hi. This is Vince from Listings to Leads, and we're working with the Jared James coaches to give you really a broad understanding of what we do and where to keep in touch with what we're doing. So before we logged in, or before we got on the call, I logged into Margaret's account here. So we're in Margaret's account, and we may kind of poke around because I want to show you, since this is kind of a brand new account, these are the things that I want to make sure that we're looking at. Because if we go into my account, which we'll do a little bit of testing so you can see how tools work, we'll probably jump into my demo account. But for right now, I do want to kind of start with some basics. First of all, every time that you log in, there's a little pop-up page here that pops up. And I want to point out to you specifically, but certainly to every one of our clients, to look here, because whenever something new or important is going on, we tend to put it here. This little pop-up is the first one. And we're going to talk about a couple of these things today. One is the Neil Wolf agent, and he's tracking 12 million. He's a 3-year agent. He does not have a lot of experience in technology or in real estate, but he is mastering one part of our system that not many people look at, and I definitely want to get into some detail of that. You can watch a recording of him. It's not the best recording because him and Scott kind of are just all over the place, but at the end I kind of tie it up so people get some answers. This call down here, though, Shannon Pyatt, is really key for anybody in real estate to watch. And I'm gonna, I know that you guys are aware of our landing pages and how successful they can be on using Facebook and print campaigns and even Google pay-per-click. And a lot of people come to us, and I think you are, as coaches, are talking to people about the fact of using landing pages. And I will tell you this, that a lot of real estate agents will come in and copy a landing page and put it on Facebook and get some leads and be like, yeah, that's great, or that's not great, or it was awesome, or whatever, and they figure, they kind of tweak it. What we know here at Listings to Leads is that there is a way to dramatically increase your business by dominating Facebook. And we train on this. We train on it every Tuesday live at, I think, 11 o'clock Pacific AM. And Shannon here has followed our instructions and is generating, the 300 to 500 leads every month. And that's really where we want our clients to be, and I'm pretty sure that's where you want your clients to be. So there is a difference from copying a property valuation link and slapping it on Facebook and just hoping that that's going to happen and you're going to get 300 to 500 leads a month. There is a little bit of a strategy. We are going to dive into that so that you know that strategy when we get off this call. But Shannon is really articulate, super tech savvy. He's over on the East Coast. I think he's in the Carolinas somewhere. And that's a great call to watch there. Then, of course, you can sign up for our live webinars, and we'll click past here. And we have our Facebook advertising. So I am going to click in here now just to point out to you, because you need to know where people can get answers. I think one common critique we get is that there's just so much in Listings to Leads that you cannot get your arms around it and you're immediately confused. So when you click this Facebook advertising button, it's really everything that has to do with landing pages, how to put them on Facebook, and of course how to put them there correctly. So here is a little link here that shows you how to actually run an ad in less than 2 minutes. And if you don't know this, to actually create a Facebook ad takes about 2 minutes. It's not a heavy lift. It's pretty easy to do. And that's why we train on it. We know it's just a great use of your time. How to create those and how to customize those pages is discussed on this video. And then there's some more detail here down below if you want to kind of look at that. And then, I mentioned Shannon Pyatt. I didn't realize Scott had put this here. And it is something for you to kind of be aware of. Shannon, who is a tech-savvy agent and has been growing his team since he started working with us, actually came to us in the spring of this year and said that 90% of his new business is coming from dominating Facebook with our tools. And I think, that's actually a remarkable number I think, to in any industry at all, to say that 90% of your new business is coming from one place. That's kind of remarkable to me. So Shannon, as I said, this guy has been in real estate a long time. He has used every kind of tool that's out there, like many realtors, and he has honed down what we have trained him on, and and is adding staff, growing his team. If you watch the call, he's pocketing cash on a monthly basis. He actually says it right on the call, and I think it's just awesome that he did that. So the other thing about Facebook is, like I said, it's not just about copying a link and pasting it on Facebook. There's actually some nuance of the language that you use, of the kinds of photographs that you use, and frankly, real estate agents are not the most creative people, right? They are good at talking to people and they got a ton of skills, but creativity is not one of them. And there's a link right here. It says click to join the Listings Leads Mastermind group. And I encourage all of you to join this group, and also to have all of your clients join this group, because inside this discussion, our top clients, including Shannon and Neil Wolf and many others, are posting their ads on our group to show them how to show others this is how we're using it, right? So if you want to go here, and one thing I always tell my clients is you can actually search our mastermind group for people like Shannon, right? Shannon Pyatt. And if you just type in Shannon, Shannon probably comes in here once a week posting some new ad, right? He says, hey, I just did this. What do you think, right? And what's really important, it's not so much the photographs, although in some calls he will tell you. Actually, what's important is the kind of language that you put, because here is a really compelling value proposition to get anybody to click on it. This home sold in 72 hours, get your home value, right? Because I don't know how many companies put property valuation pages on Facebook, right? There's Bold, there's Prime Seller, there's Home Value, there's Jared James. You guys do that, right? So, but if you're going to get people to click on these, you got to put a little more thought into it. And maybe if you don't have your own ideas, come through here and scan and see some of the latest ideas that people are putting in. And I tell you, almost every day somebody is posting in here about what they're doing. And so it is just a good place. I always tell everybody to spend 30 minutes and breeze through that mastermind group. One, we are also relating new tools. We're releasing new tools almost every week, but definitely every 2 weeks. Because we get so much feedback from that mastermind group of, hey, this is kind of working for us here, or what if we had this? And literally, and I am going to show you some of the latest tools here, there are always tools coming. So that's a little bit of where I'd like you to go. Of course, there's online tutorials, and we will be updating those. We're always updating those with new tools. But let's go over to the profile, because I want to kind of walk you through that very beginning. If you're setting up somebody and you're telling them to get involved, what you kind of want to know is available here. Obviously, the picture. If there is a team name, and if they can actually put a team name here and check this box, and that team name will be represented throughout the entire platform. All of our tools will represent that team name. Of course, everybody gets a user ID and password. I want to point out here, because this question comes up a lot, there is an email here for Margaret, and to the right it says send leads to and send tools to. So leads are leads, right? We all know what that is. So you might have a CRM that you want leads to go to via an email, right? And people like Wise Agent, well, we actually have an integration with Wise Agent later on down the page here. But I know like Realty Juggler, Commissions Inc., some of the other companies that many of our clients use, they put their email address here and they check the box over here that says send leads to. They might also have an assistant that they want to have handle their marketing stuff, right? Follow the steps that Listings to Leads gives you. So you could put that email there and check this box over here to send tools to, right? And that's kind of the nature of that section there. The MLS email and data participant ID, I can see here Margaret has gone in here and kind of done some stuff. The data participant ID, and this is a little bit of detail, but just so you know, is a number that is kind of hidden to everybody, but it's a number that is given to each agent via ListHub. And ListHub, if you don't know, is a national syndication company. It has relationships with hundreds of MLSs in the country, and they are our national partner for listings. So many people, when they sign up, we can automatically sweep their listings from ListHub, and ListHub is sweeping from the MLS. So I think here, Margaret put her MLS ID. That is not actually the number, and we'll find it, and I won't get into that at the moment, but we can find that if you actually have listings and you are part of ListHub. One thing that's interesting for a lot of agents is if they have reviews on Zillow, they can check this box and we will auto sweep them into areas like the single property websites, some of the agent listing websites, and even some of our landing pages. So where people are going to, ask for information or get more information, the agent's reviews are automatically displayed. And that's great. I think agents love that. As long as they have reviews on Zillow, they definitely want that. If you do need any kind of legal language, or you need the name of the office, or you need something there, which, you're dealing with agents across the country, and all MLSs have different kinds of rules. If something needs to flow through all tools, make sure it's in that legal description there. Down below, we have this all the colors, right, and the templates, and you can even customize your own. And here is a really important section, so I want you to understand the marketing automation setup, right? And what we see here is activate auto flyers to the agent, activate auto flyers and stuff to the seller, and then I have showcase listing enhancement on realtor.com. So these are three. So there are a lot of tools. If you have not seen them, when we have listings, we create a lot of tools to market those listings and to generate both buyer leads, seller leads, and referrals. Okay, these automated tools, as soon as the listing comes in, we generate the tools and we email them to the agent, as long as they have this first box checked. Once an agent gets their arms around what those tools are like and what they can do with that and what the language is like, you might want to check this box, which allows the tools to be sent directly to the seller from the agent's email address. And we will look at these tools so you'll get to understand this. These are not landing pages that we're talking about. These are things like single property websites, virtual tours, email campaigns, and Facebook campaigns designed to capture more buyers and referrals. And so we'll look at those and we'll kind of see what that's about. If an agent has enhanced listings on or showcase listings on realtor.com, they could check this box and we will send a virtual tour branded to realtor.com. And our branded virtual tours are designed to capture leads. Okay, so here is a place we can see here that there's a channel, and it looks like Margaret came in and associated a channel. There is a video here that shows you how this works, but all you need to do is click this button or this link here and then the next page says grant access, and so it allows you to connect to your own YouTube channel. And YouTube is great for SEO. It's also the #3 website in the country, so it is worth agents discussing. Not huge in terms of lead gen, but definitely a good SEO play, and it's good to be from a tech savvy agent perspective. Again, I mentioned that we do have integration with Wise Agents. We do have integration with Top Producer, and there are, in some of our tools, we actually put little buttons to allow people to join the agent's social networks, and you can put those here, and then those get displayed, and then you update and save any changes. So once you set up that profile, it kind of makes sense. You don't actually need to do much of that at that point. But the other thing in regarding setup, and this is um, probably even more important, is the section called lead links up here. And I don't. We've been around for a long time, and for about 6 years. I guess that's not a long time, but for 6 years, and the reason we actually became a company is because my partner Scott developed a pretty incredible tool for posting to Craigslist and generating leads. And that tool was kind of a one-click. This is when Craigslist was kind of a different environment, but you could come into our system, pull in the listings, click a Craigslist button, and it would push kind of a whole web page to Craigslist. And it would have multiple hyperlinks driving off of that page back to our clients' websites. Okay? And that was so successful that we got picked up by ListHub as the only Craigslist posting tool for all of their clients across the country. We got picked up by Keller Williams, and then we have other relationships and stuff like that that we have developed because of those hyperlinks being in our tools, driving people from our advertising tools to our agents' websites, and that was just an awesome thing. So the reason why I'm yammering on about this is that this section right here that says lead links brings you to this page, and this is where we build those links, or where you build your links, okay? And if you've got a good website, you definitely want to be taking advantage of this. And if you're working with real estate agents like the kind I know you're working with, they are very focused on generating leads, and they almost always have really good websites. So let's talk about what we want to do with this section. First of all, section 1 says create direct links to your website. Section 2 says create landing pages for your cities. Ignore section 2. If your agents have great websites, ignore section 2. Section 3 does have existing landing pages like what is your home worth. I'm going to check what is your home worth because that's always one. This is a really standard kind of page though. And these are old school squeeze pages here. Free list of HUD reports, mortgage and finance, things like that. And then up here, section 1, again, with the assumption that your agents have pretty powerful sites, they're going to want traffic to it. And one of the links that everybody we want to have is search all homes for sale. So in Margaret's system, this is her website, okay? And there is usually, for many of you with a real estate website, you're going to have maybe some information on the front, and then you got to click to get to a search. In this case, the front page is actually a pretty good place to search. So I'm going to copy the hyperlink that's on her website, and I'm going to put it right in front on, or in this box under website URL. And I'm going to check this box over here that says include for all. Okay? That means that that link is going to be a default link for all of her listings. It's going to say search all homes for sale, and it is going to point to the home page of her website. Down in section 3, I also check this box, what is your home worth? And that means that that's also going to be a default link. So all of her listings are going to have a link that says search all homes for sale and what is your home worth? Okay? So another area, let's see here, here's navigation. Here are communities. Let me click on Burlington and let's see where communities go. And usually a real estate agent has certain markets. Yeah, this is a pretty cool site actually. I glanced at it earlier before the call. I'll kind of dive deep a little bit here. This page here has a unique URL for Burlington. Okay, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my lead links. I'm going to click here and I'm going to paste in, that's the Burlington link, and I'm going to say Burlington homes for sale. Okay, and there are some important things here. Select, and this gives some automation. First of all, this button up here will allow us to create more bubbles and more links, right? So I don't know if you could see that. I'll kind of scroll up a little bit. I'll click add more links again. and it'll give us extra areas to create more links. So this site has like price breakouts, and this is actually a good thing to talk about, because I'm going to show you in my account what these links actually look like on a particular tool. And we have, on average, a 20 to 30% click-through rate. So for everybody that clicks and looks at a virtual tour, that looks at an e-flyer, looks at a blog post, when they see these links that say Burlington Homes for sale, about 20 to 30% of consumers will click that link and get off of our tool and get to your website. Now, I set up Prudential in California a few years back, and they had like this dedicated marketing person who not only created all the links to their website, but also created these price point breakouts. So anytime they had a home in Burlington and the home was for sale for like 400 grand, they would put a link that said Burlington Homes for sale, Burlington Homes from 4 to 500, Burlington Homes from 3 to 400. They, as an office in 10 offices in Central California, had a 50% click-through rate. They were super excited to work with us because, again, it's one of those crazy things to say in any industry. I've never, I came from the online advertising from Dow Jones. I've never heard of a company saying, when we advertise, 50% of the people that look at it will get off of that ad and go to your website. But with listings leads, that was actually the case. So, and I'm pointing it out because these price breakouts were the determining factor that made that click-through happen. So I'm going to click on this 4 to 500 here, and I'm going to copy this link. And I want to show you how these lead links, we're building it here, right? We're doing it for the first time. And once we build it for the first time, there is some automation that we built in to get these links associated to your listings automatically. So I definitely want you to know how that works. From 4 to 500. Okay. So to get the automation, and I got to shrink this little panel over here. Good. To get the automation to work, Burlington is kind of an area that we want to make sure that when the home comes in Burlington, let's automatically get at that link. And the way you do that when it's brand new is you type in the word up here where it says add associate links city. This is one of those things where we just didn't think it through, but this is how it actually works. If you type in the word Burlington and you click this button, it will sort of flash here. It says please wait, and then it kind of flashes. I don't know if you can see it because you're on the webinar. But what it does is it allows Burlington to be in this select box here. And now when I save that, what this is doing is it says the next time a listing comes in Burlington, in the city of Burlington, give it this link that says Burlington Homes for Sale and drive it right deep into my website showing the Burlington homes. Now this one here, Burlington Homes from 4 to 500, I'm not going to make that a default. I'm just going to create that link and have it be part of my links, right, that are available on my account. So that, because I might be selling a home that is worth $200,000, and I don't want that to be a default link, right? I might be selling a home that's worth $800,000. I don't want to be a default link, but I can make them and they can be stored there. So I'm going to click down here, and I'm going to save what we've done. And when I do, it's going to show me the links that I have as my default links. And you can actually, from this point, click and drag them up and down, okay? But I usually put what is your home worth, and I save that. And then we've got like the logo and banner, right? And so you can actually upload your logos and banners here, and they will flow through. They don't flow through all the tools, but sometimes you get banners and sometimes you get logos based on what kind of tool you got. So that's the kind of thing there that you want to. And then this section here is the call to actions, and we've got a little diagram here. There's, in some of the tools, actually I think we need to remove this because, oh yeah, this template is kind of different now. We have a different look to our flyers. But if you have call to action, for instance, what was that? Market Snapshot. Remember, Market Snapshot was kind of big for a long time. You might have a little widget that people could click on and be driven to a website. You could put that in this section, okay? And then you just save all those changes and you move on. So that's the basics of how you set up your stuff. And then when we go to the listings page, see if we actually have a listing in here. We don't. So at this point, I'm just going to create a new listing. And before I click that, I want you guys to understand, because this is, having listings in the system is pretty important. You can create one. You can click here to grab it. But ideally, we're getting your listings from ListHub, okay? And when you click Grab Active Listing, all you need is a zip code, and you need an MLS ID. And from there, you can go into, we will pull it off of Trulia. So it has to be an active listing on Trulia, and then boom, it just pulls it in. But I think what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to add a listing, because then Margaret would automatically get tools. So let's sign out of hers, and let's go into my account, and we can see what lead links are about. So if we go over to listings, all your listings will be here. Give it a second while it gets over there. And these are all the tools that are automatically designed for your listings, okay? And I want to point out a couple things here. There is a status, active, active contingent, just sold, coming soon. And we can market our homes multiple times. And so when we click on a single property website, and let me click on this one down here in Maple Grove. You remember how I said we develop those lead links and they flow through the tools? This is exactly, this is a good example of why you want to do that. This is our single property website. We have a virtual tour that's based on the same platform. These tools are mobile optimized, including the including the virtual tour. And when people look at these, we all know, you know, and every realtor knows that not everybody wants to buy this house I'm selling, right? But if they clicked on it for any reason, we do know that they are interested in property at some level, okay? In this case, the home is for sale in Maple Grove, Minnesota. So what would make sense is, well, let's have some links like Maple Grove homes for sale. If Maple Grove homes under 500K fly off the shelves,
great,
then I probably want to link
right.
that
So
talks about those
everybody
homes.
for joining us today.
And in this case, if Abingdon was like a neighboring town or an awesome part of Maple Grove, I would want that there.
That Aaron and
And then, of
Taylor have
course,
been talking
there's
about
the
us, and a lot of
homes,
people
and then what
have
is your
been
homework?
interested to learn more about us.
Oh,
and a lot
I
of you
see
have
something.
signed up
I hear I've got
to
some
use the system, but you're not
somewhere
exactly sure what
give me
to
a second,
do.
guys.
And so
I got a
the purpose
video
of this
down
call
here
is to
making a
get
bunch of noise in the
everybody
background.
kind of up and running quickly. All right. So we're doing this on GoToMeeting. I am recording this.
Get that
I'm
off
going to
there.
put it up in the God objection
Somewhere I
page.
was telling folks how
And
one cool thing, there are many cool things about our single property websites and our tools, but one of those things is that you can incorporate video, whether it's a testimonial or whether it is an area video. You can actually just have it auto-associated to all of your tools. And that's a great thing, because there are a lot of realtors that want to invest their time and money into video, but then they just sort of end up on YouTube and it doesn't do them a lot of value, or it sits in there as a file on their computer, and again, it doesn't give them much value. Here, the video can hold people, and then there's lead generation wrapped around it. So back to the lead generation links, remember the home is in Maple Grove. We click on Maple Grove on the side of this, and what happened? Let me click on that link. Here we're taking people away from the single property website and driving it to the agent's website, right? Where they're actually looking at everything in Maple Grove. And that's a great way to capture buyer leads. So when we go back to the listings, and we talked about how to create those links. We auto-associate those links to the single property website, to the virtual tour. We auto-upload to YouTube, and underneath the YouTube video, we put a link to the single property website. We have a series of e-flyers and a series of Facebook tools for every listing. We have a listing landing page. We auto-post to a blog. We create a WordPress blog for you. We auto-post every listing to that blog with the lead generation links that you want. And then we give you the ability to post to Craigslist. Okay? So many of these tools have those links that are designed to capture buyer leads. And this is a unique thing about listings leads, because I don't think there is one company that does that, right? There's CirclePix, there's RealBirds, there's Visual Tour 360, there's OBO. The list just goes on, right? Agent marketing. No company is focused on getting buyer leads through their tools. They are focused on showing the information, and that might be an overstatement, but the way that the consumer gets to the agent is by emailing them about a particular home or calling them. And we all know that nobody's picking up the phone and just calling real estate agents all the time. So it's really only email, and it's only about a particular home. We know, and we take into account what everybody knows is, hey, not everybody wants to buy the home you're showing, so let's give them some options. Those are automatically built into the tools here. So I'll come back and dive into these things. And we'll look at all those tools together. But before I lose all of you, I want to talk about the most kind of exciting thing going on. And it is something that you guys are familiar with, which is Facebook advertising. Okay. And two of the tools that I just showed you are actually used by our clients in Facebook, and we recommend it. But then there's a whole section of landing pages. Okay. So if we go up to the top, like I said, there's a section called landing pages, and you should all have these landing pages, right? And when you think of it, we look at it as like a farm market, right? You've got a farm area that you're working on to build your business. It might be that you have 2 or 3, right? So you want to use multiple tools to attack that market. You want to use letters, maybe some postcards. You want to maybe use Facebook. You could even use Google pay-per-click, right? But you don't always want to do the same thing, because there are different things for that target market. That is your farm area that you're trying to get all your business out of. Some of those people have different things going on. Some people might want to find out what their home is worth, right? So you give them a property valuation page. Some people might have a growing family, right? And they need to start making some moves. Maybe they need to buy a bigger house. And then conversely, some people might have had their kids move. So how do you get in front of that target, right? How do you get in front of those people? Well, we have landing pages for all those things. We have a landing page. Our newest is Nearby's Home Sold, right? So when we click on that, and there doesn't seem to be a pop-up there, it actually shows the consumer, here are the homes that sold nearby you, and here you can get your own home value, right? Over here we have some sort of old school landing pages, and like FSBOs and expireds. These are great tools. Free list of foreclosures and homes for sale, things like that. So all kinds of tools to get in front of the consumer where you're trying to build your business. Now, the first thing I want you to do, and for you who are kind of new trainers to us, and any of your new clients that you're working with, they're going to want to click right into these buttons, and you are too. And that's actually what everybody sort of does. They click right into that button and they go, oh, there's nothing here, right? And let me click over here. Let's see if I do that. I'll click on Nearby Homes for Sale. And you might actually, your first time in, you might go in and go, oh, I want to go to Property Valuation Plus. But when you get here, no city will be here, okay? It'll just be blank. It'll say area nearby sales, right? And there'll be a blank box. And I really don't want you to do that. I don't want you to go there and fill out that blank box and click save. I want you to go right here where it says type in farm area, right? And Donna, you said you're in Maryland, right? So you might come in and say, well, one of my farm areas is Baltimore, right? So type in just the word Baltimore, spell it correctly, and capitalize it correctly, because it's going to flow through all of these tools. And just click save. This is the fastest way, and we'll wait here a second, and it's going to give me a little message, and it's going to say your landing page series has been created successfully. What that means is I now have a Baltimore page under every one of these buttons. Okay, there are over 25 of these. There's all different kind of iterations. But down at the bottom, or where is it? Well, I thought I typed in Baltimore. It should, oh, there it is. So click See Landing Page. And here it is. Now FSBOs, I don't know how you get FSBOs. Sometimes you can buy a list of them. Some agents just go to Craigslist and find them. Some agents go to Zillow and find them. But this is a tool to get in front of a FSBO, and it basically says, let me help you do some marketing, right? And in case you don't know, obviously, I think that the average is that a FSBO will hand over their listing in 2 to 3 months. They will most likely hand it to the person who's helping them market their home, and so that's why we make this available. This banner up here, remember I showed you where you could upload your banner and logo. This is where your banner shows up here. And then when they click, yeah, I want a virtual tour, I want YouTube, I want all these great things, click next, great, give us your address, and then give us your contact information. And that's how the FSBO page works, okay? So it just saves a lot of time to, you know, do it, type in the word once, click over here, go to your landing page dashboard, and we're gonna have a landing page for expireds, for homes for sale, but also for Property Valuation Plus, right? So Donna, I'm going to go through this page here, this Property Valuation Plus, because I don't know if you guys have seen this. Okay, so hopefully I'm not, you know, boring people here. But when we click the See Landing Page, okay, great. I want to make sure that you guys know what this functionally is going to do. Okay, and I want to point out that we create this page and we always pop up this little generic suburban background, right? And sometimes for people this works, but I think in every case for our clients that are hitting triple digit lead generation, they update this background picture. Okay, I'll show you where to do that after, but right now let's just sort of go through the process and I'll talk to you about what that background picture is all about, okay? You type in your address. The consumer types in the address. So how we get people to this page, you know, number one way, put it on Facebook pay-per-click. Number two, put it in a newsletter. And I'm going to show you, we actually have a market letter pre-written for you that you can just drop in, and I'll show you how to use it. And another way is people are doing postcards. So I'm going to show you what a postcard can look like and where you can get kind of a template of it. But drive in the address here and click go. This page, and like I said, there's over 25 pages. You want to go through and look at how those pages interact. Some have auto address fill in. Some have, in this case, a Zillow valuation at the end. Some don't have a Zillow valuation at the end, and really that's kind of, you know, the agent might have certain feelings about that, and so we have all kinds of tools to help them approach their business the way they want to approach it. What this page does is it actually points you, it shows you a picture of the home. And thank goodness my lawn is mowed in that picture. So 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, it's in excellent condition, yeah, okay. And you click, yep, that's right. And that's, and the nature of this page is to get some buy-in from the consumer, right? Like, yeah, oh wow, that's my home, yeah, okay, they're, you know, they're kind of into this. They start to get in, because the next question is, great, what's your contact information, right? And let's see here, I'm going to go here. Why am I interested? Because I need to sell soon, okay? And then click for report. And notice the report is in the background. You kind of gray it out a little bit. So you've got to give us the information before you get the valuation, okay? And you click for report. And when you click on that, did it work? There we go. When you click on that, it basically brings you to the page and it says, here's your high, here's your low, here's your estimate. Here's my information on the right as the real estate agent. And if you want to schedule a 5-minute valuation consultation, great. Over here, there's an email in my Gmail. I don't know if you can see it pop up. I got an auto response as the consumer from the agent. Okay. And then there's more information. Also, the real estate agent gets this exact valuation with the contact information. So they know what that consumer was looking for, where they live, and their contact info. The nice thing about that is that, and what many agents do is they just reach out to them right away and say, hey, I saw that you got valued at whatever, 500 or whatever. Does that number seem right? Does that seem low or high or whatever? And that's the beginning of the conversion process, and there's a lot to think of regarding that. But that's how this page works, okay? That's just the basic, that's what it does. Like I said, there are many landing pages in our system. I recommend that you look at them and you use them. You fill it out just like we did to see what the auto response looks like, to see what that page looks like, and to see what the consumer is going to get. So let's get into a little bit about how we make this thing really work for us. How does the estimate range determined? That particular piece there, Margaret, was a Zillow estimate. And there's a ton of information on Zillow's site about that. I think realtors have mixed views about Zillow estimates, the accuracy being one of the biggest concerns. What I will say, and hold on, I got some background noise, so I gotta close the door here. What I will say, and what I want all of you to know, is a Zillow estimate is an instant online valuation, right? And for many, and that is a really important thing to remember, because when you're running an ad, and I'm going to show you this in a minute, when you're running an ad on Facebook or anywhere else, we're all like so ADD now. We want answers right now, right? And if you're going to tell me, hey, fill this out and I will get back to you and we will meet and we will talk and I will give you some information, that is not as compelling as I can get you your answer in 15 seconds, right? That's a totally different world. And since we're in lead generation, we want to take the route where we're going to get most leads. So our clients, I'm going to give you the highs and lows and everything. We're gonna know exactly what's going on with Facebook lead generation, particularly in seller lead gen, on this call, right? So definitely ask your questions. So when there are other tools, as I mentioned, let's just walk through it. Real quick. If we go back to the landing page dashboard, there is a one here. So anytime it has the word plus in the top of the button, it means that there is a Zillow valuation built in. Okay, but when it just says property valuation on its own, let's look at what that is. This has no valuation. Okay, it has no valuation built in. And I'm going to click on See Landing Page, and let's just see what that kind of looks like. Now, here, there's a whole bunch of options here. 2-page version and 1-page version. 2-page version autofill, 1-page version autofill. So let's just go through and look at what these are. I could use a landing page, targeting divorce. That has been coming up in our mastermind group, landing pages that target divorce. Totally, yeah. And I don't know how, but I know, I've read articles or Facebook can tell you, like, we can tell a divorce is coming from just the activity. I'm not going to dive that far into it. This is what is your Lafayette home worth, right? This is a landing page to get property valuation, but this did not have plus in the little button title there. So there is no automated valuation. So let's just see what happens here, right? I'm going to type in my address again, and Hudson Road, Lafayette, good. I click go, and what happens here? We have your valuation. No, that doesn't look good. Okay, good. click here to get it. Oh, that's right. No, it says to get a report. So let me put hints again here. Why are you moving? Click for report. So this kind of gives you an auto report. Let's see here. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. Interesting. So what this actually is doing is I actually used a redirect section, and I'll show you on the back of the page, where after the person asks for the information, they get dropped on any website that you want. So I was kind of testing it out. This isn't a good example. But I'm getting an email on the right here automatically that says, I received your request for information. Are there any questions? I will get information for you shortly. So you as the agent, if I didn't have that redirect, it would say, thank you, we'll be with you shortly. That's all it would get, and that's all the consumer would get. Some agents like that because they don't want to be associated to a Zillow estimate, okay? Some agents are totally happy with a Zillow estimate. And I'm going to show you something. This is a little bit deeper dive, but because I'm doing a search on Zestimate accuracy. I think this is probably one of the most exciting things going on in real estate right now, is using Facebook to get seller leads, right? We're not the only company that does it. You're not the only company that does it, but it is something that is almost red hot right now. I don't really know what is more hot than this concept right now. And so Margaret asked, how do they get that forecast? And there's information right here, but I am going to actually walk you through this page at Zillow.com, because I think some of the most successful realtors that I know will come to this page, and they actually come to this. How accurate is the Zillow estimate? And if you come to this page, you're going to find that actually, like most realtors will say, it's not very accurate. And you can be 5% off or 10% off real quick. And if a consumer knew that, they really wanted their valuation, they're going to want to talk to you. So a lot of realtors have this page on the ready, and when they get any estimate and they see an estimate, they just send this to them. They say, by the way, it's great you got that auto thing there, but you may want to be familiar with the accuracy of that home. Would you like to schedule a discussion to talk about your real home value? Okay, so that's a nuance. I'm sorry, I'm trying to close some tabs here. That's a nuance, but it is a little bit of a deeper discussion. But I definitely recommend that you are familiar with this, because Zillow valuations are awesome. Listings to leads also, we're rolling out Smart Zip. I need a confused, unhappy with your estimate handling. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, do you need that? So let's talk a little bit about, I am going to walk you through how to run an ad, okay? And our clients, we do that, right? We want people to know how to run an ad, and there's some nuance there. But one of the most important things right up front is you need to not use our generic suburban street if you want real lead generation. This, for instance, has Lafayette on the right, Walnut Creek, and it's got Mount Diablo. This area is like, I know this area in Lafayette. And so when you're running an ad, and more importantly, when you are seeing an ad on Facebook, you want that ad to resonate with you, right? If it's saying, hey, I want Lafayette home value, then it's got to be something more than this, because this does not look like, there is no street in Lafayette that looks like this, I can tell you that. So you just got to kind of think about that. So let's dive into where we go for that, okay? First of all, I'm going to go to the landing page dashboard, and I'm going to show you where I have my Lafayette page. And so when you're doing, I'm going to go to Property Valuation Plus, and I'm going to click on Lafayette, see this landing page. And just to give you some description, this is where I live, is Lafayette, right? This is the reservoir in the area, where, and there's a nice little 2.5 mile bike path, right? So everybody's walking their dogs and their kids and the strollers and jogging and all that great stuff. If you live in Lafayette, or if you're even 5 miles out, everybody knows this area. You want to find some place like that. It might be a downtown picture, right? It might be a bridge or some kind of landmark, but it has to speak, it has to get away from a generic ad and drive into, that consumer's feeling like, oh yeah, this person knows my area and I'm going to get the information I want, and more importantly, I'm going to give them the information that the agent wants, okay? And to do that, you kind of got to build some trust, and the first thing is that picture even relevant to my area? So how do you change that? You go over, instead of seeing the landing page, you click Edit Landing Page. And when you click Edit Landing Page, the first section down here, first of all, I'm just going to kind of go through this. You can view it, you can copy the link, but right here is the section that says Landing Page Image, okay? And you can remove it or you can upload it. It needs to be around 1900 pixels wide, 2000 pixels wide. It can be like up to 2500, but it cannot be smaller, because if it's too small, this image gets totally stretched out, right? And that's when, and we don't want it stretched out, so we just won't even accept it. So you might find an agent saying, oh, I uploaded it, but it wouldn't work. Well, it didn't work because it was either too big or too small. Facebook share image, I think we should actually take this off, because we don't, we actually want you to use the Facebook platform, and I'll show you where you do share images where they can see that. Phone required, yes, it is an option. Do never use that option, please, because you just kill your lead gen. You saw when we filled out that one Lafayette page how it dropped me on Mike Conway's website. That's because in that page I had his website right here in redirect at form completion. I don't really recommend that too often, but I will tell you when that really can be really helpful. If you have a landing page on mortgage and refinance, right? It's like, hey, to get a, pre-qualified and this and that, and you're using a landing page, fill out the information, and then you can drop them right on the web form where they would have to fill it out. That's kind of a good thing, right? That's an obvious one where that really works. Maybe you are having a first-time home buyers seminar, and you used our custom landing page, and you made it yourself, and you said, here's the time, this and that, and then they could click here to get more information, and they do that, and boom, you drop them on a website that you want them to be on, right? There are lots of options. I don't recommend you use this all the time, though. Then there's also this. What is your home worth now? Get your answer here. I always like, and you're going to see this pop up over and over, get your answer in less than 15 seconds. Okay? This is good, because this is going to get people, that's an enticement, right? I'm going to get my answer now. Awesome. Okay? There's also a section down here listing lead generation letter for your farm area. Okay, so I want you to understand what this is about, because it's actually, this came as a result of one of our clients. It was actually I set up the offices around the country, and I set up Coldwell Banker Maplewood in New Jersey, and they, this manager, branch manager came to, he said, Vince, you know what, this one agent every January asks me for a letter to send to this really sweet area. There's 800 homes, right, in this development, and he wants to build his business. That's his farm area, right? And so every year I pull together the stats and the medians and the trends and all this, and we mail it to this target market of 800 homes. And he said, this year, and actually this is the beginning of this year, 2015, that agent had the same request, and the manager said, hey, what do you get? Are you getting any leads from that? Are you, and what's happening? Nothing, zero, no leads. We're doing it every year, but no leads, okay? He said, why don't we do something a little bit different? Why don't we, we're going to make a letter, but we're going to put in a URL to drive them to our property valuation page. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see this, depending on what kind of monitor you're using there. But there is a URL that's searchallproperties.com/property valuation plus/vmesa/ you do not want anybody to have to type that in. Okay. So in this section, you can type in a URL, and what you want to do when you're using print to get leads like this, you want to have something that's easy to see, right? Or to type if you have to, which could be, you know, and you buy this at GoDaddy, Lafayette home values now, right? Or luxury home value, whatever you can get from GoDaddy, you buy it at GoDaddy, and you tell GoDaddy forward it to this page. Anybody that types in Lafayette home value now, have them land right on this. You buy that, you redirect it, you save that right here, and when you save it, you can click this button here, and this shows you a letter that's already pre-written, right? And we should actually update this because it's talking about summer. But that URL would be right here, right? And then you can print this. And I want to kind of give, you know, finish that story from branch manager and that agent. Basically, they wrote a very simple letter like this. And what he said is, in the end, home prices affected, and today's tech, and I find out a new value, home value, with using today's technology. That's basically all he said. Is normally I send you market statistics, and I think they're important, but this year I invested in some technology that can help you get your online home value. If you'd like that, fill this out. In the month of, by the month of May, he had 5 listings, not 5 leads, but 5 listings from this one letter, okay? And that's when he said, well, God, if it works like that, we got to put that in listings to leads. So this letter is kind of pre-written. You can obviously edit it, change the language however you want. Make sure that you have a URL pointing to that, and send that letter to your farm market like you would any other print campaign, okay? It's a long, long story there. Autoresponders, yes, you can customize your autoresponder. You do it by clicking here, and you kind of go there. You can see some views here. A lot of this stuff, and I want to kind of caution you, is you can get trapped in the minutia. Try not to. Here, yeah, is somebody working in an area where units, condos, etc. are important, then yeah, you can do that down here. But really, the number one thing that I want everybody to know is to come to this page and change that background picture. The rest you really don't need to worry about, but that background picture is number one, okay? So I did make a change about changing that to 15 seconds, right? And what that's going to change, you see here, what is your Lafayette home worth now? Get your answer here, right? So if we refresh this, it's going to say, what is your, get your answer in less than 15 seconds. That, we have seen that language right there be very powerful in running ads. So we're gonna, let's finish that. So right now, let me ask you guys, have any of you run an ad on Facebook before, personally? If you could give me a yes or no, just so I understand that sort of pace. Donna, yes, good. I have, great, Wayne, thanks. Yeah, well, it looks like all of you have done it, and that's good. I am going to send you something after this call, and it is I call it my cheat sheet. And if you go into the listings to leads mastermind group, and you go to files, you're going to see Vinny's cheat sheet right there, okay? And this cheat sheet is pretty basic, but it does have one video in it that I think helps many people. We have a lot of video tutorials, and some of them, they're just hard to follow, right? And this one I did an overall account getting started. You know, like I said, there's so much going on in the platform that it's hard for everybody to just get their arms around it. This, whenever anybody has an issue, and they're just overwhelmed, I send them this in email. I am going to send this to you, okay? And we're going to come back and look at this a little bit. But this Facebook thing here is actually really helpful when you're not getting the results you need on Facebook. Okay, so as you have all run ads on Facebook, I'm going to kind of assume that you're really good at this. You're a trainer, so I'm going to guess you're really good at it. But you know what? I'm still going to drag you through it. So before we go there, I'm going to click on photos, because you know how I showed you that market letter to send to your farm market? We have a bunch of photos here, and one of them is buried down here, and I'll try to put this in the email for you that I send you, because I am going to email you my cheat sheet. And down here, if you type in the word postcard on that search page, you will see this pop up. And it's a post that I put in a while back. It's from a Keller Williams agent. Again, one of our clients is just super awesome to just say, hey, here's what I'm using, and I get great results. And if I have to go through here much longer, I'm just going to go do a search on postcards. Right there. Okay. So you could actually search for the word postcard, and this post will pop up. And I want to explain to you what this is. And this guy Ryan he's on his third print of this postcard this year, and now he's printing them like huge, like 5 by 8 or 8.5 by 11. If you read through here, you'll just see everything that's going on. But let me give you the gist of it. He does just solds and just listeds, and he has the home. He's got his branding on one side. On the back side, it says get your home value, right? He's getting leads from this every time he does this, and he's always doing kind of prints on this. There's a lot of discussion on this down here, so you can certainly learn a lot. But again, we all know the old school ways. We cannot walk away from print, right? We just can't. But you can leverage technology in your print campaigns. These are two examples. The farm market letter that's on the edit page of any landing page, and this postcard is a great example of how to do that. So definitely, I want you to kind of know that that is there. So let's see here. Oh yeah, we're going to run an ad. Some people do boosting. We usually go the direction this way of creating an ad, okay? And some people say, hey, I get great results from boosting. So you got to kind of test it out. Everybody's got to know what's working in their market, because agents are spread out throughout the country, and just how Facebook applies to your target market is different from place to place. It's just the reality. What is uniform is that 71% of adults are on Facebook. Okay, so you should know that when agents are kind of pushing back, and we are dealing with real estate agents that some of them have just an aversion to Facebook, right? They don't, whatever reason that is. But I don't know of a place where 71% of your target market is sitting either in the real world, aside from sitting in their homes, or on the internet. Okay, so I'm going to click here and here's what you want to do: send people to your website. And this is important because we need people to land on this page. I'm going to click over here. I'm going to copy this URL at the top, okay? And I'm going to go back to the ad manager, and I'm going to right click and paste. And I'm going to click that, and once I click that button, that starts to, oh yeah, I heard about this Facebook and Instagram thing. That's kind of cool. We have some posts on Instagram. So you can title the campaign, and actually, in your first times when you're kind of working with this, I know you guys have all run ads, you may not be thinking about this, but in the long run, and after we run this ad, I'm going to talk about the broader strategy of Facebook and what makes our clients get to hundreds of leads every month. And it's not rocket science, but you do need to hear that, okay? And one thing you're going to need to know is that there are multiple ads being run. So having a campaign name of what this actually is can help you, right? It might be just listed with an address, right? It might be just sold with an address, so that you know, like, what was it, right? Maybe it's just listed kitchen. So because you had a kitchen picture up there instead of the front of the home. Whatever it is, it's going to help you understand what's working. Okay. I'm not going to title it now. I'm just going to click audience and budget. There are a couple of things here. I'm sorry because I know you guys all know how to run these ads, but I do have to tell you so that I know that when we get off this call that you know exactly what's going on here. Okay. Um, this property valuation page that I'm in is it's targeting Lafayette. And I know that you, or I hear that you, at you meaning Jared James, when you run ads, you're running them based on zip code, okay? And that's cool, but I need you to understand the way that we like to do things here at Listings to Leads, and we like this because we want to make sure our clients are getting great lead generation. So when you type in a city like Lafayette, it does a couple things. First of all, it shows you a nice little map here, and it automatically pushes you out to 25 miles. And you guys got to know this, and I am getting a little bit detailed oriented here. Over here, it says potential reach 1.6 million people, right? That is always like, that gets realtors excited, and it should not, because really targeted marketing is really the most important piece. As you can see, 25 miles away is San Francisco. I don't want people in San Francisco to be if they are living there to see this Lafayette ad, because if they click on it, I'm paying for it, right? So I want to change that radius by clicking this arrow to no radius. But I want you to also see that I have an option of 10-mile radius. And when we're running ads that say just listed, open house, coming soon, virtual tour, when we're running ads that are based on listings that we're marketing to tell the market that I'm actually a realtor, 10 miles out is actually pretty cool. It changes the map. I'm going to just click on it real quick. But you don't really know this area too much, but maybe you can see it actually. Canyon, Danville, Alamo is hidden, Walnut Creek. I definitely would want to do business in all these areas. So I want those people to know that I'm here. So for when I'm running an open house, when I'm running just listed, coming soon, stuff like that, 10 miles out can be really helpful. If you're way out in the countryside, maybe 25 miles. But in this case, we're running property valuation, and that page only has to do with Lafayette. So they have to live in Lafayette. And that dramatically cuts down my number, 29,000 people, right? Then if I change the date, or not the date, but the age, you can kind of use your judgment there based on where you are. In my world, homes are a little bit pricey, so there aren't many people under 30 that are going to be owning a home here. It says about 21,000. That's really important to know. Use these areas, these things to really bracket that. There are demographics. You can choose things like homeowners. You can choose things like net worth, things like that. I'm on the fence of using that at all. A lot of our clients ignore all this. We actually train to just ignore that. But some of our clients, you know, they got to click on everything and they get good results from that. So you can test it, you can try it. We typically train just focus on that area, focus on the age, and that's going to be plenty. And for our clients, it typically is. Then there's budget, and budget is a big deal. First of all, before we set budget, it says run my ad continuously. Never run an ad continuously. I think that you could sort of understand why, because that could just keep going. But we like to run ads for like a maximum of 3 to 4 days. So in this case, I'm going to show you what we like to what I like to recommend, especially when we're doing property valuation. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay? And here's why, and and having said that, I want to make sure, and what happened here, it says $5. Oh, yeah. Good thing. It always pushes you out 30 days. It pushes you out to the next month. So you got to make sure you run it, and it's just going 4 days, and it's saying Well, this is saying $5. So I definitely want to talk about that $5 budget. And this is kind of going to bleed into the broader strategy. How do you get hundreds of leads, right, every month? The way you do that is you run all kinds of ads, but you don't put $20 on every ad every day or you go broke real fast. But when it's property valuation and we're paying for clicks, $20 is usually where I start, right? And sometimes you can drop it to 10, and after a while you can actually put in less because you start getting preferential treatment from Facebook. When they start to see a consistent ad budget in hundreds of dollars on a monthly basis, you get more clicks for the same dollar, okay? But what you may not know is that if you go into advanced options here, it will show you, if you're a first-time agent running ads, that you are probably getting 75 cents a click. So if you put an ad out there for $1 or $2 or $5, you're not going to get very many clicks on that, okay? And that's the key, is that when it's property valuation, you need them to click and get on that page and fill out that page. So $20, you know, you can get a lot of clicks on a daily basis, right? But if they don't get here to fill this out, there's just no value for the agent. So set that budget for property valuation, 10 to 20 bucks a day. Okay, I usually recommend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because that's where they get the most hits. And then if they want to try it on the weekdays, they can. I don't know if people do that. You know, again, some things work better in different markets, but you got to test it out. So we set the budget. It says now at the bottom right, choose ad and creative. This is a super important piece, and there's a couple of nuances here that you have to really be aware of. There's basically, it's saying, do you want a single image? This is what it's going to look like. You could put multiple images and it'll scroll through the, if you put like 6 images, some of the kitchen, some of the backyard, some of whatever, it will go through that, right? But I want to point out what we're looking at down here, and there's a couple things here. When we talk about our clients generating hundreds of leads every month, it is not because they can copy this link like I just did and paste it in here and they can throw it up here and throw money at it and have it just work. It's just not that easy. But what happens is that when they build their brand on Facebook, when consumers realize that this person is a realtor and they really realize it, things start dramatically changing for them. So I want to point out a couple things here. Listings to Leads has sponsored this ad. And that's because I work for Listings to Leads. But when your clients do it, it's going ideally from their business page, right? So when they run ads, they're always going to see Joe the Realtor, right? And that's what they want. That's the brand building part, okay? When we run an ad for $1 a day, $2 a day, $5 or $20 a day, it will get a certain amount of clicks, right? Or not. But it gets a much broader reach. And the reach is that people actually saw it and start to recognize that you're a realtor. So in this case, because we're doing property valuation, I do want to point out some of the language. This is kind of like the basic language. Find out your home value now, right? And one of the things that I showed you earlier in the call here, Shannon Pines, you know, I've seen ads of his that basically say, this home sold in 24 hours. Would you like to get your home value now? Click here. And so here, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the one that we actually trained him, he started with. Click here to, sorry, it always runs so slow and I'm running like all kinds of stuff, to get your online automated home value. Sorry guys, this is like just killing me here. Home value in less than 15 seconds. I can't see it. And if I misspelled it, I'm sorry. But the point of this is actually, it's a little more about human nature, right? One is, it's automated and it's online and I'm going to get it in 15 seconds, which kind of implies that I don't have to talk to anybody to get this, right? And you know that nobody really wants to talk to us as salespeople. So you need to be thinking of what's going to compel them to click there to get this, right? And so that's it. And so when they get there, the page, as I showed you, it says you're going to get your answer in 15 seconds. So you do got to think a little bit about that language. And that's why I tell you to join our mastermind group, because our agents are putting great content, great concepts and ideas and words up there so that you can write those ads and have them be more powerful. Down below it says Lafayette Home Values. That sort of makes sense. You can get a button that says Learn More. We've already got that there. I will show you this. Show advanced options here. If you've got a home for sale and there's something unique about it, that little box there allows you to put 200 more characters, because you will know that, you probably do know that you have very limited language that you can put above and below that ad. But down here, 200 characters, you can do quite a lot. So if there's custom stuff or something unique about that home, definitely utilize that. Here's the other important piece, and I definitely want you to understand what is going on here. At the bottom of this, it says mobile newsfeed, right column, and audience network. So usually, and it kind of, again, this is something that you got to kind of test, but I do want you to understand what this all means. Mobile newsfeed means that this ad would show up on the phone, on the smartphone, okay? And our web pages, all of our tools, including this one, are mobile optimized. So it will work on a smartphone. However, where is that consumer when they see it on the smartphone, and are they in the position to fill out a form online? Are they driving? Are they in Starbucks? You know, if they click on it, you're paying for it. So when we're running property valuation ads, I usually recommend that you just remove this, right? You click this button over here and click remove. And when you do that, oh, that's interesting. It's actually auto-posting to Instagram. I got to read about that. That's kind of amazing. So then there's the audience network, and I won't go too far into it, but desktop right column, there are ads on the right column in Facebook. You can choose to use them or not. Audience network, I'm gonna just remove it. You know, I'm gonna tell you why. I have a Samsung phone, Android operating system, and I have this like clean master. It shuts down my apps all the time. It saves my battery, and they have, when I log in there to look at it, it says, oh, we save these batteries, you shut down these apps to whatever. I see little ads. I see ads for games, and I've even seen ads for home values. So you got to think that the audience network are the partner companies with Facebook that might be pushing these ads out anywhere. You may want them anywhere, right? That may be like totally works for you, but it may not, because maybe they're on some kind of video game and you don't want your ad showing up there because you might be paying for it, right? So you can think of that. It's not really a big deal, but the big deal is mobile. But I am going to, that's odd. When you remove it, let's see here, it usually gives you the option to add it back. Yeah. Add preview. Okay, so it must be back on. Somehow I just totally messed that up. The ad was there, so I'm clicking around too much. I got to point out one more thing. But let's see. I got to point out one more thing, and that's the thing about mobile. When you're running ads on the weekend, mobile also means iPads and tablets. And a lot of people are just sitting there watching movies, watching the game on their iPad. So mobile can be beneficial on the weekends. So it's worth testing and worth, you know, seeing. We have a lot of clients that come to us and say, hey, better response I use. I got a question there and I lost that. Let me see that. And so that's kind of the thing. A lot of people will come to us and say, I ran these ads and I got a lot of clicks on mobile, but I got no leads. And so the answer is turn off mobile. And then boom, it starts working, right? Because people click, they use up their clicks, and they use up their money, and people aren't, you know, working on leads. So let's see, I got a question here. I don't know if you had any feedback on this, but I find I get better response when I use a two-step page over one-step page. Are others finding this? Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So what that question is, this is a two-step page. We went through this page when we started this. Um, the first section is get the address first, and then second we can ask you for contact information. And that page is pretty powerful. I will, since Wayne brought it up, I'm going to go to the listing page dashboard, and a lot of agents. So we'll kind of talk about that. When it says property valuation plus one, one means it's one page. Okay, so let's look at that real quick. And I'm going to click on see landing page. And this asks for information right up front. Okay, so you're not going to get the home value. I mean, basically, you can't go past this page. And again, you should get your answer in 15 seconds, right? So, and it says your report is on the next page, et cetera, et cetera. You still got to update the background picture, stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit in depth about that. A two-page page, like this one, asks for the information, the address first, and then after you get the contact information. This one, you got to get contact information right up front. So a lot of people don't want to give up contact information. They just don't, right? I mean, I'm sure all of us here feel the same way. This page is designed to coax that information out. So, but that being said, not all people will fill out the contact information. They'll give you the address, and so they will get that. And so what we call that is a partial lead. A partial lead meaning I have the address, but I don't get the contact information. We actually, just this week, are putting the finishing touches on a third-party software that will take those leads that are partial, meaning they will take the address, scrub their database, and give you, the agent, the complete contact information. And we don't know yet what percentage of leads that is actually get full contact information. It's not going to be all of them. But we have seen our clients come back and say, hey, 90% of these leads are now coming with full contact information. So if that's the case, even if it was 70%, I would say you want to look at that converter, which it is inside the mastermind group, and it is available inside the system, to use this two-page process instead of one-page process. Because this one-page process, a lot of people just walk away. It's like, no, I don't even have any idea what I'm going to get, so I'm not going to fill that out. So generally speaking, a two-page ad or two-page process like this, for all leads generated, about 10 to 20% will come in with an email and possibly a phone number, right? And the rest won't. You're just going to get an address. So that means that here, if you're requiring the address right up front, you're probably going to get less leads, right? Definitely, you're going to get less leads because people just don't want to do that. Again, I'm going to just repeat it. All the web pages can require a phone number, and that just pretty much kills all your lead generation. So don't really recommend that at all. So those are sort of the options there. And that is, yeah, to run a property valuation, that is kind of it. We kind of went through that a little bit in detail. I got to point out one more thing that makes our clients, puts them in that position of generating large amounts of leads, right? Running an ad properly, targeting properly is super important. But there's another super important piece that if you want your clients to just be like singing on top of this thing and just like totally killing it, they need to understand that they can run multiple ads that they should run multiple ads. And so I tell people have at least 1 to 2 ads running every day of the week. Not for 30 days, but every day of the week, okay? And what that means is I got homes here. Here's a home I can have coming soon. So it says coming soon, and you can actually change the status by clicking this blue button. And I can change it to coming soon. Now, not everybody can mark it coming soon, but with inventory being tight, if you can mark it for even a couple of days coming soon, it just puts you in a different light to the target market, to the consumers, right? Like, hey, I've got access to information that most people don't. It's not even on the MLS, it's coming soon. So I change it here, and when I go back to the listings page, you change it there and you save it at the bottom of the page, obviously. Let's go back to the listings page. Here's coming soon. There are two tools that we like people to be running ads on, okay, or with. And this is to build the target market. One is the single property website. It is the red button with the white house on it. And as you can see up on the top right, it says coming soon. In this case, it only has one photo because it's not even on the MLS yet. It's coming soon, right? So you're going to have very minimal information, but you are going to have opportunities like these, like, you know, Maple Grove Homes and all kinds of lead generation links on the side, left-hand side. So remember, we were talking about that earlier. This is a single property website coming soon, okay? Now, the other thing about coming soon, or the other thing that we want you to use, is a listing landing page. And over here to the right of the Facebook ad is a blue button that says listing landing page. And let's see what I got here. When I click on coming soon for this one, this is the default landing page. Now don't get sad on me. I know this is not exciting. For offices, they use this because they want to run multiple ads and they don't want to be putting a lot of work in it. But you can make this page look really sexy, really fast. And what I mean by that is that I'm going to click on this coming soon one here in Naples. Or actually, no, don't I have a, yeah, I guess that's it. I changed it to Naples. So I'm going to click on the listing landing page here. And when I click on this one, this is the same listing landing page, right? You remember that dorky squeeze page that I just showed you coming soon? Like this. It can now look just like this, right? What do I need to do that? I need a big photograph, 1900, 2000 pixels wide. I go over here to my, and this is a little convoluted. We're going to hopefully change this real soon, but you click on the virtual tour button, and on the virtual tour button is a big weird red button, upload a high res picture. You can see here that I've uploaded an image, and then I check the little radio button that says listing landing page, and I click Save All Edits. And that makes our default page that has one little picture look like this. Okay? This is what you want to run on Facebook. I already showed you how to run an ad. You only need to run this ad for $1, $2 a day. But you always want to have ads running on Facebook. And in this case, we did coming soon. We could change the status to just listed. We could run a virtual tour. We could say it's under contract, or it's pending, or it's just sold, okay? And what we're doing is we want to run ads for a couple bucks a day. If you run an ad for $1 to $2 a day for 3 days, 4 days, 1,000 to 2,000 people will see it. And that's the key there. They'll see it. They may not click on it, but thousands of people are going to see it. So that when you start investing 10 to 20 bucks a day on the weekend on property valuation, thousands of people have seen your homes, right? They can see, even if you've borrowed these homes from your colleagues, you can see them. They can see you on Facebook as having homes coming soon, or just listed, or just sold, things like that. So that's a very important part to dominating Facebook. When you're coming into listings to leads, in 2016, our discussion is not going to be running landing pages on Facebook. It is going to be dominating Facebook. And we know how to dominate it. You run ads on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, for $1, $2 a day. Ideally, a handful, okay? When you listen to those calls from Shannon Hyatt, when you listen to the calls from Neil Wolf, and when you listen to the calls from Melody Banks and anybody else that gets on calls lists, they all say the same exact thing. People are calling them out of the blue and saying, I see you all over the internet. I see you all over Facebook. I want you to sell my home. That is dominating Facebook, okay? That does not happen from you running one ad on the weekends on Facebook. That comes from you dominating it in the way I'm describing. So you know, we got clients that have no listings. They're borrowing a few listings, they're running ads, they're running them for 3 or 4 days. They may run the same exact listing, but they're gonna change the picture. This time it's the kitchen, this time it's the front, this time it's the backyard. But whatever, it's just different in the eyes of the consumer. And that's what you're after. You're doing that for a small investment. You're building up a brand identity so that when you throw out, you know, the fact that you want to find out what your home is worth, people trust you. They have seen you month after month. They know you're a realtor. And if this is an important thing that you want to know, they're going to be more comfortable giving you the information. So that is my rant on Facebook. Is something not clear for you? I am going to jump into a very cool new thing that I'm sure none of you have ever seen, but I definitely want you to totally understand this Facebook piece. So are there any questions right now? And I'm happy to answer any. Cool, cool, okay. Okay, Donna, thanks. So you remember this like lead generation links here, right? I am going to just dive over real quickly back on the listings page. These are in the single property website. That's what we were looking at. If we click on a virtual tour, I'm just going to high level real quickly go through some of our core tools again. We spent the beginning of this call talking about lead generation links. There's an unbranded virtual tour. We usually ask people ignore it, and we ask them to jump right into the branded virtual tour, because the branded virtual tour has the same hyperlinks right in the side of the virtual tour, right? And in this case, it's active contingent, right? What I want to point out is, what do you do with a virtual tour? There's a hyperlink up here for it. I'm not going to wait for it. I'm just showing you the links here on the left. There's a hyperlink that you should copy. For most agents, you want to put that, you copy it here, directly on Zillow and Trulia, because your listings are seen a lot on Zillow and Trulia, and most agents get no value out of the fact that they're on Zillow and Trulia. But with those virtual tours, people can click on them, they can click on the side links and get back to the agent. So here's a little bit of detail, but it is important. If you're working with people at Keller Williams, they should put that branded virtual tour in KWLS. They will syndicate it with the hyperlinks to their website to over 300 other websites, all the ones you know and many you've never heard of. The Crest, the Realogy brands, right? The CBs, the Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Sotheby's, ERA, Better Homes, Gardens. They have a software platform called Crest, like the toothpaste. If they put that branded virtual tour in there, they will syndicate it to all the top systems and also their competitor realtor companies. I can tell you, that is a really exciting story to many realtors who are sitting at Coldwell Banker to say, oh, my listing's on Century 21 and I can get people back off of the Century 21 site to my site. Definitely. So they take that step. So that's just something to know. Otherwise, put it directly on Zillow and Trulia. Again, if you are a showcase real estate agent on realtor.com, there's a box to check on the profile page, and we will auto-upload there. We will auto-upload to YouTube for you automatically. So I mentioned when you log into the account, there's a pop-up page and there's a call with Shannon Pyatt. And like I said, watch a Shannon Pyatt call, because he just describes and shows you in detail what I have just told you about how to dominate Facebook. Okay. Neil Wolf also does what I just described to you. But Neil also does something radically different. And I learned about Neil, I guess, a year and a half ago. And just a few months ago, we got him on a call to talk about what he's doing. And I said the call is on there, and it's just not that great, but it's not a great call. But if you can go through it and see what he's doing, it's just amazing. There is in all of your accounts is a button here that says listing website and widgets. There are widgets for HTML, for WordPress and stuff like that. And hidden right at the top is this listing website. And this is a tool that many of our agents are using because it showcases all the listings. And all it is a website that is pre-built for you, and it has all, it's just surrounded by lead capture, right? Here are the multiple hyperlinks pointing to my website. What is your home worth? Here's a big form here, find out what your home is worth. And then here is all of the listings that are inside my account, okay? Now, I'm gonna click on just one of them, and it pulls up a single property website, and you guessed it, that single property website is all designed to capture leads for me. Now, the story about Neil is that, like I said earlier, he's a 3-year real estate agent. Okay, he's not been in this business very long. He did not have a lot of listings when he joined us, and he borrowed listings. He borrows listings from other companies. He borrows listings from his own office, and he just says, "I want to get more buyers for you. Can I do that?" And I want to show you what his page looks like. And this is his page in his account. And as I mentioned, each of you and all of the agents you're working with has this page in their account. And what he is doing is he's got all of his he's got all of his own landing pages that some are customized on our platform, some on his own. Lease purchase option, homes for rent, get pre-approved, estate homes. He's got all these things that are designed to capture leads for him. He's actually got a few more links, and he just rotates them a little bit. And I'm going to click on this one link here that says search all homes for sale. Neil is an agent for Keller Williams. And you may or may not know this, but about 3 years ago, maybe longer, 4 years ago, Keller Williams signed an agreement with Market Leader to provide Market Leader websites to all their agents. And that was kind of an important story. And Keller Williams agents really loved the fact that they could drive people to the site, and within 2 to 3 clicks, every consumer got asked to register. In the back of the Market Leader site is a really sweet little CRM system, and there's some really nice visibility to the lead activity, all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of cool. But one of the major downsides is that every website looks exactly the same. You can change the color and put your logo there, but that's it. So the look and feel is not really touchy-feely. It doesn't give agents a lot of warmth to say, oh, I stand out above everybody else. Yeah, because it just doesn't, right? And it also has no SEO, so people are kind of not happy about that. However, it is good for lead generation. Neil does not point anybody to that site. He points them to this site. So he actually bought his own website or URL at GoDaddy, and it's Neil Knows Naples. He's in Naples, Florida. Okay, and anytime anybody goes to that web address, they point them here. Okay, and all these pages, here's a lease purchase option, right? And like I said, he was a new agent, right? He's a 3-year agent, so he doesn't have a lot of listings. This is a custom page he built in our system on the landing page system. It's designed to, get people there. So he went after business, and you can hear him on his call. He was looking for listings, but he was also looking for renters because he has some kind of unique lease purchase option, right? Where he can get people who are looking for rentals into a buy position, and he gets paid on it and all this great stuff. But he's got all these tools here that are all designed to capture leads for him, okay? And that's his strategy. How to this page now, right? Because everything and everything that he does, he's actually generating leads every time somebody gets on this page, right? Every agent has this page. They can customize it to suit their needs. So here is how he's getting people there. As I said, he bought a URL that says Neil Knows Naples. Let's see here. So let's see where I can find it. Let's see if I can find this easily. Probably not. Give me a second, guys. Great. Well, while it's baking, let me just tell you the story. He runs ads on Craigslist every day in the apartment housing section for rent, okay? And when he does that, he's got the most ridiculous generic looking ads. These things are not fancy by any stretch you know, of the imagination. And but every one of them that says Neil knows Nate. And so he's got, you know, a few ads every day up there on that. Oh, that's good. So it's finally, it's getting there. Good. So he's in this area. He goes in the apartment housing for rent. And I'll give you a little bit of the story of what he does. But he's getting so many leads. I mean, in the summer, he was like leads every month, which is just insane. So to see what he is doing, go to the Fort Myers, Southwest Florida area and type in the word wolf. I'm going to do it right now. Wolf, like, you know, predecessor of a dog. And you can see that he's running ads like every few days. And it's always something different. And some are for sale and some are for rent. And let's just look at a couple of his ads. Sometimes he puts photographs up there and sometimes he does not, right? He doesn't make them super fancy, but he always puts in there, for more listings, check out Neil Knows Naples. And if you know anything about Craigslist, this used to be huge where you could click on that link and pop over to it. But because it's not, he just bought a very simple link, a very simple name that a consumer can easily remember. Oh yeah, Neil Knows Naples, great. I want to see more. And you know, Craigslist, it's such a kind of a weird site anyway that it's not like going to show you a bunch of listings. So anytime he can get Neil Knows Naples in front of consumers, if they are interested in property and they're tired of going back and forth on Craigslist, they can just click here. And when they click here, again, super simple, right? This is not a great looking ad at all. But because he's got ads up there every day, I'm going to right click on this and take you to Neil Knows Naples. Neil Knows Naples is pointing to searchallproperties.com/nwolf, which is his username, right? And that's what he's doing. He is running ads. He is dominating Facebook in the way that I described, and he is pushing this over to on Craigslist every day, and he's getting just a ton of activity, a ton of lead generation. You know, you can listen to him on the call. He loves working with rentals because he targets the homeowner. He sells the homeowner investment properties. He just takes leads and just squeezes them for everything that he's got. Obviously, when he's got a lease purchase option, he's able to get involved and get paid pretty handsomely. So he's got a whole strategy of why he works with renters and, of course, works with home sellers. Because when people go here and they see, are you losing me, Donna? I'm going to close this page. It could be that I got too much stuff open. My processor choking down here. Donna, can you hear me? I might have too much running here in the background. Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, I'm still on the call. Okay. Everybody can hear me, Donna. Did you bump into a button there? So, guys, I wanted you to know about this Craigslist thing, right? Because, okay. When the owner of this company called me, this is Keller Williams' office that I set up a while ago. He said, Vince, one of my agents is generating 50 leads a day, 50, from your tool, and it was this tool. He doesn't do it all the time, and I think his lead generation is kind of like topped out, but it was pretty incredible. So that tool is available to every agent, and it takes somebody who's going to be a little more aggressive, right? You're going to know that some of your agents are very aggressive in finding any way to grow their business, and some are not. So when you find that kind of person, I definitely recommend you point them in that direction. This is a combined open house tool. If people are running multiple open houses, it looks just like the one we just looked at. I don't have any open houses set in here. But I will tell you this. If you do have an open house, what's this one here? Give me a second. Okay, Donna kind of left and came back. This is under deposit. And you can mark it as that. I'm going to put an open house here. It's on the edit page and I'm going to say it's 1 to 4, and I'm going to save it. And once I do that, all of the tools are going to have an open house banner on them. And me as an agent, I'm going to get an email with all of the tools to market this open house. And I'm going to point this out to you because we focus, and you probably this year, in the earlier part of the year, saw all those articles. I think Inman was producing them, or Realtor.com, I can't remember, about is an open house a valuable use of your time for your client, right? And their verdict was really no. It was like, no, this is, you don't, because there's no control, there's no lead gen, none of that. Well, if you, when I read that, I said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. However, if you use the tools that would be emailed to you automatically, when you set up an open house here, you will get leads before that open house, during that open house, and after that open house. And you will see, because we send you a lead capture form that you can use on a tablet right there at the open house. Anytime somebody fills out a lead, they're going to get an email with a single property website with all the lead capture going on, right? In the email. And then of course the tools are designed to capture leads before. So there's one other section, and then I'm going to stop talking because that's almost a 2-hour discussion, and that's pretty good. I can do that. But when we talked about those lead generation links, there were 2 places here that we overlooked. And this is actually a really, really important piece that our clients love, and it's the e-flyer and social media. I'm going to click on the e-flyer button, and I'm going to point out to you what our e-flyers look like. And I know that whenever I talk about e-flyers to people, real estate agents, they just don't even want to hear that, right? Because e-flyers are not, that's really something that somebody calls me and asks about a house. I'm either going to send them a link to the listing on the MLS, or I'm going to send them an e-flyer, right? That's it. But you see here, we have multiple e-flyers. And we do it for a couple of reasons. One, every one of our tools can capture leads and generate leads. So the more we can get tools out to the market, the better. 2, there are multiple events. Inventory is tight, but there are multiple events with every listing that are a great opportunity for you to talk about that listing. Just listed, open house, in contract, just sold. These are all like relevant points, and most agents don't take advantage of any of that. So in our world, let's click on the open house flyer. There's a couple of really important pieces here. First of all, the open house flyer, as well as the coming soon, as well as just listed, as well as just sold, what are they going to have? They're going to have our lead generation links right in the email, right? Again, no other company does that. That's just part of listings to leads. But there's also in the flyer is really, I think the thing that most people love is there is a little message above every flyer that is pre-written from the client, the listing, the homeowner, to their friends and family. And in every one of those messages, it talks about the real estate agent in their office. And you can see here, dear friends, as you know, our home is for sale. Vince Mesa LL Realty is selling it. To get as many people there as we can, would you please forward this out? Why would we do this? Well, obviously, we want more people to see it. But secondly, we want more people to see, we want the friends and family and colleagues of the homeowner to know that they are working with you, the real estate agent. Okay? So we got every one of these flyers is talking about you, the real estate agent. Every one of these flyers is designed to capture leads. But if we go over here, and I think this is really where I would go, if you're showing this to real estate agents, that kind of concept is like, it's just not that exciting. But I'll tell you when it gets exciting, and when they get excited, it's right here on the just sold. And the just sold says, and I'm going to click on Facebook. The pre-written message is a pre-written testimonial, right? So if you can imagine that a listing client, a homeowner, has been sending multiple messages from coming soon to just listed, now says, after like 4 or 5 times that I've seen that this this friend of mine is working with this agent, says, hey, we want to recommend this, right? And our home just sold. Here's his contact info. So this is a pre-written testimonial automatically kicked out of the system. And when we put it over on Facebook, let's just go see what that looks like real quick. It's going to have a nice picture of the home. It's going to have all my phone number right on the system. And oh god. Let's see. That's my buddy's two kids there. It's this. And hopefully my computer is not so clogged up with software running that we can actually see what it looks like. But I can see a lot of wheels spinning around right now. It's not making me that confident. Got that far. So let's wait a second because it's a little bit slow here. I'm going to click post. It may not show the picture, but I think it will. It will definitely show the language. So let's kind of see what happens. So all the client has to do, yeah, our home is just sold, yeah. So I can see like some wheels spinning on my computer, and it's because I got a ton of stuff running. It should actually show a big picture of the home, right? Right underneath this ad that says our home just sold, right? And we want to recommend our agent who was just great, right? So that is what realtors really love. They love to see that coming from their client to their friends and family on Facebook. And that's the nature. And if they click on anything here, let's see if I can get there here. There is a hyperlink. There should be a big photo. Whatever they click on this ad pulls up a tool that says just sold. And of course, it's designed to capture leads. So that's the nature of our, we designed that to get, leads. We designed it to get buyer leads and also referrals. And that's just the nature of it, right? That's what it's designed to do. That automatically happens anytime an agent logs in, right? So, or anytime an agent signs up. Those tools automatically come out. They just got to know what to do with it. And what they got to do with it is they got to forward those tools to their client, give a 5-second courtesy phone call and say, I just sent you a Facebook ad and an e-flyer. If you could send those out, that'd be awesome. I'm doing all kinds of stuff to market your home, but that would be great. And that's it, people. There are market reports. You can create your own market report, but really that's a ton of tools there. And I know you're not going to be able to show all those things to every agent every time, but all of those tools are really awesome at generating leads, building brand exposure, getting seller leads, getting buyer leads, and building referrals. So that's the end of my story for right now. Do we have any questions? I'm sure you're overwhelmed. Yeah, I went for 2 hours, so I'm sure you're overwhelmed. But we recorded this. I'll give this back to you. I am gonna hang out here for a minute to see if there are any questions. But I want to point out that there is a tab here that says Contact Support, and right here in the middle of the page is where you should always send your questions, because there are 3 support people watching that. Scott watches that, so if it gets too complicated, he'll pick it up. I'm not a big fan of our little Zopum chat thing because I've heard way too many times that people get stuck on it. If it works for you, great. But everybody watches that support call section right there, so I definitely recommend that. Back on the home page, I want to point out the Facebook page. If you want to see more about the open house, that's there. We do have online tutorials right here in the middle of this page, and there's a lot of stuff there, right? You can learn about even more than I talked about today. So Donna, I don't see any questions coming in, so I want to thank everybody for your time. I do have a question. Okay. I am going to put, as I open up this question, I am going to put this video up online. Give me a second there, Jenny, and I will see it. I'm just trying to find your question. I'll put this up online and I will send you the link. Okay, I have a question. On the landing page to switch the picture, I went back to click Well, Ginny, so what she's saying is, I tried to upload a picture, but it wasn't available. Not all of these have the ability to change a background picture. Some of them do. Those are the mobile responsive ones, like that one there, and this one there. But some of them don't. Okay, so just okay. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jay. That's kind of it, everybody. I want to thank you all for your time. And like I said, I'm going to send you my little cheat sheet here once we get off the call. It is going to talk about, I'm going to just kind of walk you through it. It's going to say choose the right lead generation links, which you talked about. It's going to say share the single property website, which is this tool here, share button that you can share that to your social media. It says put your virtual tour out on various sites. Just as you know, we auto upload to YouTube. It also says get these tools out to your client and call the client. If you refer, you're welcome to send everything to me and I will send it out to all the coaches. Sounds good, Donna. I will send that out to you. Yeah, I will send that out to you and I will send you the video as soon as I get it. That'll probably be, I may just wait and send it all in one email so we don't have to have multiple things going on.